The ongoing controversy in the video game and entertainment space currently lies at the feet of the video game Slay the Spire 2, as it is facing backlash after people finished the game, saw in the credits, and that good old Anita Sarkeesian is listed as a consultant in the credits. Now gamers are leaving negative Steam reviews, saying they regret buying the game and would not have purchased it if they knew. And some are requesting refunds while it's still in early access. So, this obviously has created a lot of controversy. Vera, I know you've talked about it on your channel, but give us your thoughts on this controversy.
Yeah, so I mean, I know a lot of people have really been loving Slay the Spire 2, and Slay the Spire 2 and what it has represented in the video game industry has been very impactful. I do think that it is a game that a lot of people really loved, and I think though that the fact that Anita Sarkeesian's name is now attached to Slay the Spire 2 is a massive problem because, like so many people, I myself will not monetarily support any projects that Anita Sarkeesian, Brianna Wu, or Zoe Quinn have touched. Now, most of these people have not actually worked on video games recently, or like Anita Sarkeesian, very few and very far between. But it does change a lot of people's opinions because ultimately, by supporting Slay the Spire 2 and supporting Megacrit and ultimately Devolver Digital, you are giving money to people that hate you and have pushed for change in the video game industry. These are raging feminists and ultimately just cultural Marxists, and these are people who do not love this space the way that we do. So I completely understand why so many people are now very furious. They're taking to social media to say they will not monetarily support a Slay the Spire 3, or they haven't purchased Slay the Spire 2 yet in early access and they were waiting for full release and they will not purchase it now. And people also feel like they were sort of manipulated because Anita Sarkeesian's name was not highlighted during the development process, which I understand that's a little harder to do simply because you can't highlight every single developer that works on a project. But yeah, people feel like they have been misled, because if you're monetarily supporting someone like Anita Sarkeesian, you're just helping further the problems in the industry. And if Megacrit works with them and Devolver backs that someone like Anita and says, oh yeah, this is someone that has done a great job, it makes you question, who are the developers that are working in the studio and do they share a similar mindset? Because Anita Sarkeesian isn't somebody that you can work with if you have an opinion completely different from hers.
Well, this brings up a really good question here, right? The idea that some people feeling that they've been duped when it comes to this game because she was not disclosed as being a consultant. Now, I go back to the conversation we had yesterday about Chrissy and the Melanie Mac thing, right? At a certain point, you need to be aware of people that are on your show or working on your game, right? I think that 99.9999999% of the time, look, if there's a developer or somebody working on your game that you don't disclose it, right? Big deal. But Anita Sarkeesian is different.
Right. She is such a massive name in this space. And if you are a video game developer, you know who Anita Sarkeesian is.
Right. And she is one of the people who ushered in this era of, the things that we've seen in the video game space the last 10 plus years, right? Have literally changed the video game space. Remember, she spoke at the UN, of all things, about Gamergate. She triggered Gamergate. She started the whole thing. She was a big part of the whole thing. So if she is involved, I think that there is valid concern. Sir Damned over on X says, if someone who genuinely cares about video games as a hobby and you don't hate Anita Sarkeesian just by default, the reason is actually not that complicated. It means you're retarded. The only alternative is that you do not, in fact, care about gaming as much at all, and are just lying. The entire culture war you see today, the division, lack of unity, the shitty, soulless AAA games all look exactly the same with the same bored and tired cast of bald black lesbian and overweight diverse woman number 883. Even the same modern audience Fortnite aesthetic that so many games are guilty of. Pretty much it all exists because of Anita Sarkeesian right here. She is responsible. She is exclusively responsible for this. Now, this is this person here talking about this. And I understand the logic behind that. Now, with that said, the other side of the coin here is the game apparently is very, very good. And Epic Mike is actually catching a little bit of some strays over on X because he said, I mean, she is the absolute worst. But Slay the Spire is a great game, and I haven't seen a single thing that gave me pause in the content right here. So he went through and played it and didn't think anything of it, right? So that's kind of the other side of the coin. It's like, don't see anything negative on it. So I don't know. Your thoughts on that, Vera?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to, have different opinions on it. I ultimately am not going to sit here and tell people to buy or not buy something. All I can really do is give you the information and you can make your own decision. I know a lot of people really enjoy the game and really like it, but at the same time, I think that, again, like this is somebody who has been a driving factor in the negative change we've seen in the industry happen over the past decade plus, over the past 12 years since Gamergate. And so it is hard now to recommend a game like that, or when you recommend it, you have to say, by the way, Anita Sarkeesian worked on it. And so I know a lot of people have bought it and are playing it. And sure, she seemingly has not inserted any content. It's not like it's a narrative heavy game, but the problem is that studios are not just going to pay somebody for work they're not going to use. And Anita Sarkeesian got paid. She clearly consulted, and I would bet that she did have some sort of hand in changing some form of content in it. Either way, you don't generally work with someone like Anita Sarkeesian just because you think that oh my God, she's a good game developer or a writer or something. You have to agree with her stance. And so it makes you question what sort of studio this is, what their ranks are filled with for people, and what their general outlook on gamers is.
Well, the game is doing exceptional.
Yeah.
It has 119,000 people playing it right now. The reviews are mixed, to say the least. So it's done very, very well, and it will probably continue to do very, very well. So, Phoenix, I know you're of the mindset of like, look, these people want you dead, so don't support any aspect of it. In any sort of support at all when it comes to something, somebody or something, some company, some person that has said and done horrible things. You probably shouldn't support anything associated with that, right?
Yeah, but I think actually having listened to Vera, kind of interesting. I really can. This is really, you can see both sides here. I don't necessarily know if one is more right. I think it comes down to are you someone that wants to be an activist, and I mean that as a positive, or not, right? So you can go typically like me, which is scorched earth, unforgiving. It's like find that like wherever they go, they will never work again. So you just remind people like, this is tainted poison. Do not bring this anywhere near you, or we will level your company financially. But you can also make the argument like, hey, you played this game, you loved it, you never saw anything wrong with it, and then at the very end, oh surprise, this is here. Well, I think like Colin Moriarty had even kind of said like, hey, if you weren't aware of that, then really, how can you fault that? And you could make the argument, maybe is it worth, this is not my opinion, is it worth applauding her and going, hey, more of this, please. Hey, like this is what we respect. Doing this is productive. You try and get them that way. I don't know. After hearing Vera, that reminded me of, I say Scorched Earth. Too bad you're not playing Slay the Spire if you want to go that route.
And I also think that working on one game that turned out well doesn't make up for the 12 years of her destroying this industry. And so, sure, maybe if she makes 30 Slay the Spire 2s or works on 30 Slay the Spire 2s where there isn't a narrative, you can maybe say to yourself, why has she changed? And maybe in a way you could view that as genuine. I can't view it as genuine based off of her track record. Like, I will never personally forgive her for what she has done and the damage she's caused in the video game industry. And it's like, I personally will not knowingly support any projects that those major three work on. So yeah, that's just like my opinion though. But I very rarely have people where I will intentionally like boycott their work and not give them a chance because they've done so much damage. She's just one of those people.
You mentioned Colin Phoenix. He said, Anita Sarkeesian is undoubtedly a tourist and a grifter and had a negative effect on the industry. That said, if a game she consulted on is played by millions and no one noticed anything amiss until the credits made you mad a month after launch, maybe you're overreacting here. So this has definitely been a divisive topic.
It kind of reminds me of like if you say, I hate ingredient X, that's healthy for you. And your mom secretly puts it in the dish. You didn't know it. You ate it. You're like, I loved it. And then she went, by the way, orange, whatever the hell that ingredient X was in there. It's just like, I really can see both sides on that. You could see the betrayal on that and kind of go like, no, fuck that. No, you should have told me. I would have liked to have known up front.
Yeah, and I also think that someone like Anita adapts to backlash. And so she's not only joining projects that throw a very clear, intentional narrative in your face. It's just more toned down now. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in the project or that it won't, because again, this is early access. This is not the final product. In 2 years when this game comes out, there could be an entire storyline and a story mission, and they haven't hinted at that at all whatsoever, but it's still not the final product and you don't know what is going to be added in the future.
This is a good response from Rick on X. Says, yes, the tumor is cancer. It's 100% deadly cancer. We recognize that. The cancer killed patients before, but it's pretty small right now. So just let it grow for the next few years again. Said no one ever. Right?
Yeah.
So
when you give these people an inch, they take a mile, and they will continue to infect the industry. And yeah, I mean, if you say, oh, Anita Sarkeesian worked on this really good game, maybe it's okay that she's given another chance in the future. She's just going to go back to the same shit that she previously was. I mean, Marxists change their tactics and they change their terminology and they adapt like chameleons, and you give them an inch and they're going to take that mile.
Let us know what you think about this. What do you think about this, huh? What do you think about it?
I think Vera did a very good job of. I think that's exactly it. I think that's right.
I agree. Yeah. Well, I did also want to point out that everyone's favorite video game journalism website, Kotaku, lets you know that Gamergate 2 has review bombed Slay the Spire. The entirety of. Did you know that Gamergate 2, like the entirety of it, just review bombed it? Did you know that, Vera?
I think it's funny that they post an article like this saying, oh, Gamergate 2 review bombed it, but then you have these same people saying, oh, it actually isn't tanking in scores because of people upset over Anita Sarkeesian, and that's just a lie being pushed on the internet. So now it's like the left eating the left, and they're all arguing about who's actually reviewing this game negatively. But yeah, there are some people who are taking to the Steam forums and voicing their opinion and taking to the Steam reviews page and saying, hey, listen, I've put a bit of time into it and I'm not going to anymore. And I do think that it is important to voice how you feel, whether that's sharing a video or making a post on X and trying to have your voice heard, because otherwise, we're going to see people like Anita continue to slip through the cracks.
Man, it's like I said, it's very hot, and I understand the idea of considering her a cancer or a tumor and the horrible damage that she's done. I'll be interested to see what the response is, if we see a response from them, from the developers of the game, if they mention anything about this. So.